Oh man, once upon a time, NBA Twitter was not actually NBA Twitter. Yeah, see, there was a time where nobody cared about the latest LeBron James tweet. There were no Kevin Durant burners. Maybe. Every player who averaged over 15 points a game was not a problem or a force. No, instead, there were just people and players with accounts more or less tweeting out into the void. And because of that, there was some wild shit on this app, man. Now, some of the tweets you're about to see were from players before they were actually in the NBA, so they were just tweeting like you or me. They were just the average Joe with opinions. And then some of these tweets and DMs are from players that were actually in the NBA, and I assure if they would have had happened now, they would be suspended. Case in point, tweet number 1 from Kevin Garnett. Chris Bosh has a wife? Wow, could have fooled me. Holy shit, this was in May. This was in May of 2013. Where were the Celtics in May 2013? They just got done losing to the Knicks, I believe. This was, yeah, KG had already played his last game as a Celtic. Meanwhile, the Heat were trailblazing their way to the finals. So yeah, he was probably salty. But damn, I can't believe for the first time, just the other day I saw this tweet. I've never heard of this before. You could say anything back then, man. By the way, no Chris Bosh slander. We love Chris Bosh. This is just for the time. This is funny as fuck. In April of 2014, Russell Westbrook tweeted out, Russell Westbrook. Very insightful. Also worth noting, I have no idea if this actually came from him. Maybe it was just the person running his Twitter account. I don't know. I don't just imagine Russ tweeting out his name. Nonetheless, in February of 2012, about 3 to 4 months before making the NBA Finals, KD said, just had a bad dream. Wish I could go to sleep in my mommy bed, but I forgot that I'm 23. I was gonna say it was this bad dream where he gets blocked by Dwayne Wade and wakes up and is inspired to work out. However, that came out like a year after this tweet, I believe. It could have been a dream about joining a stacked team and winning 2 rings and still not being seen as the best player in the NBA. Oh wait, that's reality. Miles Bridges back in 2012. Wow, 2012 was just the year of the tweet. He had to have been like 13 or 14 when he tweeted this. She ignoring your calls and play with my balls. Oh man, nothing but pain. He didn't have to rub it in, man. I know she's paying attention to somebody more successful than me. This is just being cruel. This is why I hate NBA players on social media, man. They abuse their privilege. Can't find one goddamn Instagram model that doesn't already have one of them in her likes. Pain. Anthony Davis back in 2011 says, OMG, a retweet from @KingJames would be so freaking awesome. You know what would be more awesome? Being part of a championship duo with him on one of the most storied franchises in NBA history. That's gonna have to wait till next year though. Clippers 2020. I ain't changed. Oh, this is cool as shit though. Like, imagine as a kid tweeting out asking for a retweet from what was then the best player in the NBA, and then 10 years later you're his superstar teammate. Life just works out funny for certain people. For the rest of us, it's just pain. Paul George was doing a Q&A in 2010. Wow, super young PG, which makes this even funnier. Somebody asking him how many women or whatever you want to call them has he slept with. He says, LMAO, no comment. This tweet happened just a few years too early for the low-hanging Roy Hibbert joke. And while Paul George hints at the fact that his body count was astronomical, Elfrid Payton just a year later was saying, I wish I had hoes like that. Hashtag serious tweet. Oh man, I am using this. I am putting hashtag serious tweet on every single tweet I send from now on. Follow me on Twitter, by the way. Spicy take from CJ McCollum. I had to go make sure this one was real. It's just unbelievable that nobody ever really dug this up. Back in June of 2011, he said, anyone that ever said Braun was better than Kobe, kill yourself. This game speaks for itself. Better than Jordan? Ah, yeah, June 2011, damn. Everybody was on Braun's head that month, so that's understandable. What's not understandable for most of you here would be the Twitter for BlackBerry. Twitter for BlackBerry. Y'all can't even handle Twitter for Android. Imagine this. Oof. March 2011. Irvin Magic Johnson says, if Brandon Knight were to come out, I would take him #1 in the draft. This just so happens to be the only Magic Johnson tweet I've ever seen that wasn't spot on, because usually he's tweeting exactly what's happened or exactly what's gonna happen, word for word, bar for bar. By the way, if you were curious, after this, Brandon Knight was actually selected 8th overall, not first. Still top 10. May not have been the #1 pick, but is definitely #1 in most embarrassing moments. Remember this one? A fan told Carmelo Anthony, how about you win a ring? You fucking kill me, man. Rooting for you all the time just to be disappointed. Melo said, I ain't asked for your glazed donut face ass to root for me anyway. January 1st, 2014. Oh man, I was young back then, so I remember anytime I would see an NBA player interact with somebody, it would be like, it was just crazy because you always looked at them as something more than people. So for him to not only interact, but come out with the roast, this shit was legendary, bro. Glazed donut face ass. Because of Kevin Durant's free agency move, everybody's seen this one, but it still makes the list nonetheless. Back in July 16 of 2010, saying that now everybody want to play for the Heat and the Lakers. Let's go back to being competitive and going at these peoples. Yeah, I had a misconception about when this tweet was made. It says 2010, so this was when the Heat super team got together. For some reason, I always thought this tweet happened after Nash and Dwight went to the Lakers. So this would have been about the Heat trio, which is interesting because he always says that he took LeBron's inspiration and went a step further by going to the Warriors. And then when he went to the Warriors and somebody asked him about the competitive nature of it, he said that it was actually the hardest route to a championship because, rough quote, he was saying that he didn't know anybody on the team, he never lived in that community, yada yada. So yeah, that's why it was the hardest road. Yeah, I guess. Anywho, Kevin Durant 2 weeks later said, I'm watching the History Channel in the club, and I'm wondering, how do these people know what's going on the Sun? Ain't nobody ever been. First of all, forget the tweet. What club was he watching History Channel in? Damn, that has introvert written all over it. I've been in places I didn't care to be before and pulled out NBA games, but History Channel in the club. I'm gonna have to write that one down. Not now, bitch. Robert Clockworth is talking. Then in January 2011, KD said that he tried to listen to Lil B and my mind wouldn't let me do it. Can't believe this guy is relevant. Turns out KD really had it out for Lil B because he responded to somebody who said, my nigga, stop writing hooks and just stick to hook shots. That's corny as fuck, bro. How long did that take to come up with? The world will be a better place that way, B. KD responded, what's the difference between me rapping and Lil B and Soulja Boy? Hey, you know what? He's not exactly wrong there. That's the crazy part. So is this where the Lil B curse came from? Is that what happened? Did Lil B respond after that and that's how that became a thing? I don't know if y'all remember the Lil B curse. It seems like that kind of more or less died as NBA Twitter grew into an actual thing. These might be the origins. So moving on from Durant and then talking about Durant, Damian Lillard tweeted out in 2011. Damn, bro, they were busy around this time. Okay, Durant is that dude. Unstoppable. The only person who can stop him from scoring is Westbrook. Oh, damn. That's crazy. You know what? I actually had seen this one before, but it's funny because of everything that's happened since then. Damian Lillard and Westbrook, they do compete, but there's obviously a little bit to it as well. There's a little bit of spice to it. Westbrook really took pride in that moment when he told him, I've been busting your ass for years, and then probably took that buzzer beater personally. Man, we got to see more Russ and Dame. We got to see how that story actually ends. We need a definitive ending to it. Ooh, all the way back in December 2009. Tristan Thompson was talking to somebody and said, I couldn't pull a chick's hair because her weave might come off and that will kill the mood. Toronto girls know what I'm talking about. I mean, he ain't wrong though. That would fuck everything up. More pain for Knicks fans. Look at this, bro. This is crazy. Around June 2009, Dwayne Wade just openly talking about his impending free agency. He retweeted a question where somebody was asking him what are the chances of you and LeBron playing on the same team, preferably in the Garden. And his answer was wait and see, lol. This only had 34 retweets and 17 likes at the time. That's how little people were paying attention to the NBA's biggest stars. Imagine this happening today. Imagine Giannis tweeting about his free agency and possibly playing with, I don't know, just another top player next year, next summer. That'd be crazy. That'd be on every show for like the next week. But back in 2009, nobody had Twitter. Nobody was paying attention. They could have said anything. And then they did end up playing together. I love this tweet. In July of 2011, Damian Lillard tweeted out, at 6:40 a.m., put this brown thing in that round thing. Well, he's obviously talking about basketball, you sickos. More Lillard heat, all from 2011. At King James, I may have been one of your biggest fans, but this series you played like a straight pussy. He also said, I don't feel bad for your fake focused ass. I feel bad for D-Wade and myself, cause I wanted it more than you. Damn shame. I read that as Dame shame at first. Then he said Miami don't want it bad enough and I'm done defending LeBron James. Man, Lillard was just, he was just like a lot of people on Twitter before he made the league, man. He was just a disgruntled Bron stan. Now, I wonder who is going to be Damian Lillard this year? If the Lakers go to the finals and Bron underperforms, who's going to be tweeting out shit and get drafted like 2 years later and then have to explain this? Probably nobody, because honestly, any prospect that's a star already, they already have super clout on all platforms, so they can't tweet any of this stuff out without being noticed anyways. It would have to be some underrated prospect nobody's paying attention to right now that would then become a star. I don't know, keep tabs on it. More LeBron heat, Draymond Green before clutch, pre-clutch days. In March 2011, LeBron has hot water in his veins instead of ice water. God damn. All this is NBA Facebook from players before they were drafted. Literally. This is how everybody used to talk about Braun back in the day. They were just joining in. This would be so much better if Braun had to finish that dunk over him in 2016 though. That really would have came full circle. My goodness, bro. This one turned up as a tweet's not loading. I looked for it just to verify it. And Maurice Bates said, if you can't afford porn, just turn on women's tennis and shut your eyes. Wow, what a poetic tweet. In August of 2012 nonetheless. Boy, they'd be trying to cancel him right now. This one is actually just a Twitter DM, and some girl told J.R. Smith that I'm going to your game tonight. He was like, oh cool, dope. This is in 2013, by the way. She sends a nice smiley face. He like, oh really? Word? She said, oh really what? And then she knew what she was doing with this emoji, bro. He said, you trying to get the pipe? Oh, straight to the point. Man, how nice it must be to be a famous and rich basketball player. Don't even have to waste time. Funny thing is, these DMs got out, but I mean, look at the emoji, bro. It's hard to imagine that she didn't go through with this. This Amari Stoudemire exchange. I always think about this one. It was a DM that the guy posted, and I always think about it because he actually was fined for this. And it always comes back up because this was back in 2012, and I always think about whenever a player says whatever he wants to a fan today, nobody cares. Nothing happens. Rarely ever do you see a fine. But this was so early on, and it was still so new for players to be interacting on Twitter with fans that it was a finable offense. Now, I'm sure if some DM or tweet came out with this specific lingo, there probably would be repercussions. But still though, I seen KD going back and forth with people saying certain shit to them and nothing happens. I had to find this one from an article because apparently the tweet was deleted. It was from when the Boston Celtics went up 3-0 or 2-0 on the Orlando Magic in the 2010 conference finals, and Paul Pierce's account tweeted out, anybody got a broom? Capital broom. However, people did some investigating and realized that Pierce was actually being interviewed at the time that this tweet was sent, so not sure who else had access to his account, or did he actually get hacked? Was he one of the rare players that actually got hacked? I don't know, still funny though. Imagine this happening today. A team goes up 3-0 and then one of the star players, arguably the best player on the team, tweets out anybody got a broom. I wish, man. Y'all gotta start using Twitter to its full potential. Speaking of the players, this is something else he tweeted out after the Boston Celtics beat the Miami Heat in Miami, and this is when LeBron James and Bosh, this was their first season there. Pierce tweeted out, it's been a pleasure to bring my talents to South Beach, now on to Memphis. Mocking LeBron James, of course, earlier that summer. Man, he has always hated LeBron James. Always, always, always. Pierce is literally a LeBron hater that got to play in the NBA. KD says, Scarlett Johansson, I will drink your bathwater. Hashtag random. Wow, you sicko. Silently insert gif of Russell Westbrook sneaking a snack. I also just found this the other day from Kevin Garnett. It's still up. Horford could never guard me. And it shows a ferocious dunk by the man himself. Once again, just something you never ever see in today's game. Even if this did happen today, Horford seems too nice. I'm not sure he would respond either way. And last but certainly not least, in 2012, Dennis Smith Jr. tweeted, everybody has God-given talents. Mine just so happens to be slinging this wood in my pants. That was Dennis Smith Jr. at age 14. Hey man, I just thank God that Myspace got deleted, or everything we wrote got deleted, because I am very sure at that age I was typing things very similar. It would be quite impossible for any of us to have an internet career who have Myspace histories if they were still available. But they're not though. Thank you, Tom. Anyways, if you enjoyed this video, be sure to hit the like button, comment, and sub, and also hit the bell next to my name if you want notifications every time a new one drops. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you all on the next one.